I would like to introduce you to Jason. Jason lives here in Gulf Harbour. He and his wife made the decision that this is where they wanted to live a few years ago, and they worked out a way that they could build their forever home on the side of the 11th hole at Gulf Harbour Country Club. They have been living here happily for almost 3 years now, through some of those northwesterlies that have some of us sitting by the windows and doors and hoping they stay in place and were designed and fitted properly. Jason also plays golf and is in the happy position of being able to open their garage door and drive from their home in his golf buggy down the side of the 11th and the side of the 10th, and pausing to book in with the pro shop and buying a cup of coffee, proceed to the first tee and enjoy a very pleasurable few hours doing something that he loves to do. Before coming to live here, they made sure that this was something that this lifestyle could reasonably expect to continue for the remaining years of their lives. The golf operation of the country club was in good shape. The social life was full and vibrant. The legal instruments were all in place to ensure that this piece of the Garden of New Zealand was unlikely to present any curveballs to their plan, and they settled into a lifestyle which, for them, was their planned ideal. That all came to a rude halt in July 2023, when the new owner of Gulf Harbour Country Club abruptly closed the facility. They had noticed several changes preceding that which had created some disquiet among their neighbours and friends. The relatively sudden disappearance of all of the magnificent pine trees around the course suddenly created an openness and lack of intimacy that really changed how the land felt. Some people remarked that it looked as if the whole property was being prepared to be a building site. And as we all now know, that is exactly what the new owner had in mind. For those people paying attention, we all witnessed the faint hand of a boundary change in a resource consent submitted to Auckland Council in November 2023, which masked the actual plan to develop the entire golf course and turn it into housing. Even as that application stated in black and white that there was no intent to change the actual use of the country club land from what it was designed and purposed for, it was evident that the complete abandonment of ground maintenance and then unfathomable lack of security at the clubhouse buildings were purposeful steps in forcing the will of the community and the council to accede to the pressure to create a vast building site for thousands of homes. In the interim, of course, we had the issue of what would happen to the land, the eyesore, the rapid growth in field mice and rat populations, the immediate effect on bird life and nature. In many cases, the reality of hundreds of homes around the course now having to have rodent traps, and strategies for dealing with this new intrusion. Many conversations took place over the weeks following the closure of the country club, which surfaced people's anger and frustration. In some cases, the heartbreak of relationships severed as people moved away to find a better place to see out the rest of their lives. But I started off by introducing you to Jason. His response to the closure of the club was pretty unique. He wandered down to Mitre 10 and bought a ride-on mower. He didn't go around asking for donations or support or help. He seems to be the kind of person who just decided to do his bit. So it is likely that anyone who walks or cycles down the side of the 11th fairway would have noticed that it has remained relatively nurtured and cared for. It is certainly not an eyesore. There is nowhere for a mouse to hide in there. Your legs will not get covered in the sticky residue from the grass as you walk along the footpath. In fact, if you tee off from the 11th tee, you will probably be able to find your ball just as easily as if the course was being maintained as usual. Of course, the tees and the green cannot benefit from the daily curation and care provided by the fantastic green staff who used to mow and water and tend to them every day. But in every other respect, Jason has maintained for all of us, but especially his neighbours on the 11th hole, a relatively consistent view to look out to from their homes and continue to enjoy with minimal growth in the numbers of furry creatures who like to grow their populations in long and untended grass. I stopped and had a chat to Jason one day as he was working on the 11th. We talked for a while and then I went about my day. Later, about 6 hours later, I came by the 11th hole again and there he was, still sitting on that red mower, going up and down and round and round. I stopped and said hello again and he was just as cheery and chatty as he'd been 6 hours before. From time to time I have seen Jason cutting the grass beside the path of many other holes as well, and even on the driving range. And then this weekend I saw that he was on the 14th hole. He can't even see this from his house, but he was out again on that red mower, up and down, round and round. This time he had 3 people working with him and moving the cut grass off of the course as he mowed. Again, I came around about 5 hours later and he was still there. He had to rush home for a short spell to go and find his dog, which had done a runner. But otherwise, he was just as contented and happy to chat as he had been when I saw him earlier in the day.
Local champion, yeah.
Local champion.
Local champion. Local hero.
So you live here as well, hey?
Yeah.
Right here up here on the 14th as well.
Yeah. Yeah, now we just got rabbits.
Just rabbits?
Just rabbits.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
There's plenty of
mice, but they didn't last long.
I guess there's plenty of food for them here.
Yeah, there is, yeah. I just know that area down there in front.
It feels like quite a bit of a working bee down here at the moment.
Yeah, it's quite
There's
good.
there's Gary in the distance.
Yeah.
Like trying to keep the grass away from it, make it easier for him to mow it. Just picking it all up ahead of him. Mainly to stop the mice and the rats getting into our neighbour's property. He wants to keep it down for that reason.
Are some of the neighbours having problems with that?
Yes, they are. Yeah. Yep. Chris, who's giving us a hand at the moment, he's having big problems with them. Give the guy a hand. He's doing it on his own bat. Just, he's paying for all the petrol himself. Apart from now, a lot of the guys, neighbours, are chipping in.
And you were helping out today as well with.
Yep. I saw Gary down here pushing, gathering up the grass. I thought we'd better pitch in and help. Yeah.
It's all team effort up here.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this for now, Jason? I'll just come a bit closer.
Probably about what?
6 months.
I started with a push mower.
I didn't see that part. That'd be interesting to see.
Oh wait, yeah. And I said no.
You literally started with a push mower.
Yeah. Then I said, and I asked the wife. I said, "Do you think we should upgrade?" And she said yes.
Okay. So you thought, now I get the toy of my dreams.
Yeah. It's like that lotto. It's like that lotto ad, mowing the berm.
So give us an idea, like looking at the 14th here now, this looks like a hell of a lot. How much time is this taking?
I would say you're probably looking about 6 hours for the first cut. I'd say about that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but at least that, and you came back and did it again.
And how fuel efficient is this machine of yours? Hour for how many litres for an hour?
I suppose about 5 litres in an hour, I suppose, or 2 hours.
Like
You just fill it up, mate.
Just keep it going.
Just keep it going.
So you've been around the place doing like I've seen on the paths on the side and everything,
Yeah, I've
cutting
done
around.
the paths as well. I did the 11th.
Yeah.
I've done the 12th and the 13th. And all the rats were coming out on the 13th.
Really?
I was mowing the verge and all the rats were coming out.
Wow.
3 rats coming out. I've done the practice fairway, for the sideways.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about it really, just trying to keep the place tidy in my area.
I asked Jason a little bit more about what he was doing, and as we have been seeing a number of comments on Facebook and social media about others doing the same, or considering something similar on other parts of the country club, I thought I would ask him for any helpful tips that he could pass on from his experience. 1. His rationale for buying a mower was that he will probably need to continue to do something for several months while this whole situation works itself out. And so he bought a reasonable mower with a warranty, expecting to sell it again when we have proper green staff and professionals tending to the course again. 2. He bought a mower from Mitre 10 which is described as being suitable for large lawns. Pretty funny when you read that in the description on their website and then look at a fairway at the country club. This probably does mean that maintenance is really important. Parts will wear out more quickly. Shout out to Gatman's Mowers, who have been very generous in their spare parts support to Jason. The mower that Jason is using consumes about 5 litres of fuel every hour. 4. People have offered money to Jason from time to time, and at first he laughed it off and wouldn't take it. But as the ongoing reality bites, he has learned to accept that those of us who appreciate what he does actually want to help. Much like our teenage years, where until we actually owned a car, we thought that a $5 contribution each for a carload of friends to the Coromandel for a weekend away was reasonable, it turns out that lawn mowing does take a bit of fiscal commitment and community contributions are welcome. 5. It takes a lot of time. You can actually work it out if you look at these shots. Just how many times a small ride-on mower has to go up and down a par 4 fairway, such as the 14th, and that one is reasonably flat. So, If you're thinking of getting a group of people to take care of your part of the country club, it might be an idea to pop along to the 11th and get some tips from Jason. In the meantime, on behalf of all of us, we want to say a big thank you to Jason. It is people like you who make this community the kind of place we think is worth fighting for. Cheers, mate. Keep Whangaparoa Green Spaces was formed in 2021 by a group of Peninsula locals when Greg Oliver first bought the golf course. They were suspicious that he would not be committed to running the golf course and maintaining this invaluable community asset. They believed that he would only be interested in closing the course to build houses, given his property development background. We have already represented everyone on the peninsula at council meeting of the Parks and Recreation Committee and presented a petition signed by almost 5,000 residents of the community. We have urged the council to maintain its stance on the encumbrance that is essential to preserve the quality of life that all residents of the peninsula, not just the residents of Gulf Harbour, and indeed not just its golfers, currently enjoy. Most importantly, you can get involved. First of all, if you can find the time to go to www.kwgnz.org, you can sign up for email updates, and we will be coordinating both communications and preparing actions that we can take as a community. Secondly, if you subscribe to this YouTube channel, you will be able to see all of the videos that we create. And if you press the notifications bell, then you will be notified when a new video update is available for you to watch. If you like the video, then YouTube will learn that there are people who are interested in this channel and it will be easier to find. There is no charge to you for doing any of this, and we maintain the highest standards of privacy and security with the information that you give to us. Thank you for watching this video. We will do our best to keep you up to date with developments that affect all of us as residents of this wonderful community on the Whangaparoa Peninsula.